All right, everybody, it's the Working Fans Podcast, and we're going to talk to you today some AEW Dynamite. AJ, this was like one of the most fast-paced Dynamites in a while, and that's saying something.
This Dynamite was absolutely incredible. I enjoyed 99% of it.
Oh, okay.
99%.
I can't wait to hear what that small percentile is that you did not like. Let's start off with the first match, the Joker. We've been speculating about this for a while. We talked about Cesaro, Harry Smith.
What a way to bring back Kenny Omega.
We talked about Kenny Omega off air.
Yeah.
I did not see Johnny Elite.
No, but Johnny Gargano looked fantastic.
Johnny Gargano. Yeah, I know. They messed up under Twitter there. We talked about that. That's crazy. I would have liked Johnny Gargano better, honestly. But
I would have too, but he looked jacked compared to when I saw him in NXT.
Yeah, Johnny Elite, John Hennigan, good performance other than botched 450, but I thought it was solid. But at the end of the day, I guess for what they were trying to do, right, have a surprise, but not have somebody that we'd expect to win or be disappointed if they lost. I thought John Hennigan fit that role.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, people keep saying botched 450. He did a great 450. He just didn't actually land on the person. But that's fine. Yeah.
I mean, that is kind of the goal. But Samoa Joe moves on. We'll talk about his opponent later and where we see this going. I have a feeling we're looking at. I think he's going to go all the way, but we'll talk about that. He did get jumped afterwards too.
He did.
I don't think that's going to play in him losing though. I think this is just a story for him to keep, adversity.
I mean, it could be. But I don't see it. I agree with you. I think Samoa Joe's going to the finals, just because I think they need Red Dragon in other areas. So.
Then we had CM Punk out on commentary for the next matchup. Hangman Page versus Joe's going to murder me on this one. Kensuke Takashita.
Yeah, no, that's actually pretty damn good.
Hey, Takashita. So I thought he had a great performance. I've been watching him on AEW Dark and Dark Elevation. I think he did one Rampage too. He's been looking great from DDT promotion. I thought it was an outstanding performance, but Hangman got the win like he should. Use the GTS, which I love the fact that Punk said he was flattered by that. He wasn't pissed off. He didn't play into that. And I also liked one other thing, too, I want to point out, too. Excalibur on commentary for putting over all the wins that Takashita has and, like, all the people he's faced. Excellent. I thought it was a great job by Excalibur, and I loved Punk on commentary as well. And I thought this was a great showcase for Hangman.
I agree with you. I would like to say that you should probably stop trying to say the name. You've hit it right, and now you should just let it go. The more times you say it, the more likely you are to fuck it up. So just let it go at this point. Excalibur did a great job. He often does do a great job. I don't think he gets enough credit, to be honest with you, in that 3-man booth. I mean, Jim Ross is not what he once was. I know he gets pissed off by people saying that on the internet because God forbid anybody actually critique anything that he does. But since he is the god of play-by-play.
He's the greatest professional announcer of all time in the pro wrestling business.
Absolutely. Fuck you, Gordon.
Number 2.
But my point behind that is that I don't think Excalibur gets enough credit. I love anytime they add CM Punk to the booth. He actually does a good job of calling the action, and he doesn't focus on putting himself over, which is a cool thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I'm really looking forward to this feud and this match. We'll talk more about that at the as we get to the top 5 of the week. Spoiler. Then we had Limitless Keith Lee and Shane Swerve Strickland versus the Workhorsemen, Anthony Henry, JD Drake. I like Drake and Henry. I think they're a little underrated. I'd like to see them maybe get a push down the road. But this was a good showcase for Lee and Strickland.
I love their finisher. Their finisher is fantastic. The pop-up powerbomb into the stomp. That's a fantastic finisher. I do disagree with the nickname. I think there are limits to Keith Lee because he needs to just get a little bit better with his mic skills again. I thought he was better in NXT with his mic skills than he actually is now.
Interesting. He always has that voice. That seems to be hit or miss. That some people just they don't like his little voice.
Yeah.
Citations and greetings.
Yeah, and I actually like his voice. I think that when he does it correctly, he does it fantastic. I think that sometimes, well, one of the problems is Swerve, who's right next to him, is really good on the stick, so it can be tough.
Now Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs come out.
Speaking of really good on the stick.
Yep. And then we got Christian with Jurassic Express come out, and we set up a 3-way dance for Double or Nothing. What do you think about this? Are you excited about this?
So remember when we talked about how I liked 99% of the show?
Yes.
This is that 1% that I actually don't like. It's turning into a cluster. It's starting to get just a little too monotonous, and it's starting to turn into a cluster. I know. I mean, I have a feeling I know where they're going with it, with both Christian and at times Jungle Boy showing irritation and showing what could be heel qualities. And I get that you're building the storyline, but to me, this segment dragged a little bit, and it was the 1% that, if I'm going to nitpick, I didn't like.
Who do you see coming out on top here at Double or Nothing with the tag belts?
To be honest with you, I'm hoping for Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs to get the belts.
Right.
But I have a feeling they're going to put them on Swerve and Keith Lee.
Okay. After that, we ended up with
Backley actually agreed with me on that, so that's
Backley in the comments here. I hear Hobbs is going solo soon, though.
He would be a good, to be honest with you, you could easily turn Hobbs face. Hobbs would be a good solo face. You could very easily do with him what you've done with Wardlow, to be honest with you.
He always gave me Ron Simmons type vibes. You know, big, strong, athletic, African-American, spine buster, explosive.
He also speaks better than they give him credit for. I know he doesn't get to speak often because Ricky Starks is so good on the mic, but I've heard interviews and stuff, not on AEW with Hobbs, and he's actually very good.
Then we had Chris Statlander and Red Velvet interviewed in the back to get ready for Friday. You want to pick a winner here?
I'm going to pick Stat.
Okay. I'll agree with that. No fighting here. Then we had
I know that it's loaded with baby faces, but I just got this feeling that they're going to do something with this new Stat look, with her new look and with her new persona. And quite frankly, Red Velvet being part of the baddies, she doesn't actually need it.
Right. Maybe she goes heel. MJF comes out with Sean Spears. We got Wardlow here to take his 10 lashes. And I'm like, Cody, he's no-selling these at first, obviously pointing to the fact that he's such a dominant physical presence.
Have you ever been hit by a belt?
That's since I was a kid.
No, well, I meant even as a kid. Have you ever been hit with a belt?
Oh, yeah.
So you know what it feels like to get hit with a belt.
Oh, yeah.
I also know what it's like to be hit by a belt. And though we were not the size of Wardlow, obviously, it stings. Yeah. So to be able to stand there and no-sell it, the thing that was impressive to me, he was able to no-sell it with his face. Because you can stand there and bow up and take it with your body, but your face gives it away sometimes. So he did a great job of no-selling it with his face.
Yeah, he did good.
Yeah, Backley. I see Backley down there again. Sorry, I like to talk to the guests. He's predicting Velvet to win it. I don't have a problem with that prediction. I could see that happening with the interference. I just have a feeling in my gut that they're going to do something with Statlander.
Actually, the playoff with Backley saying, though, if Red Velvet does win through interference, and let's say she gets by Ruby Soho with interference too, then she ends up taking Toni Storm on in the finals, and Toni Storm overcomes the interference. Toni Storm wins that Owen Hart tournament. It sets up Toni Storm for a match with Jay Cargo for the TBS Women's title.
It could be going in that direction to set it up, but also, if you remember, Jade Cargill, and I know you fast forward sometimes, so you might not have seen this. Yeah. Jade Cargill got into it a little bit with Chris Statlander also, so it could be going in that direction also, where she overcomes Red Velvet and then goes after Cargill.
In the words of Jay Cargo, AJ, cut the shit.
I can't believe we've put this much time talking about this.
Yeah, we backtracked. We're talking about Wardlow taking these whips. Now, eventually this sets up. He's no-selling. We low blow him. We beat the shit out of him with Sean Spears, and we get great heat on him. The crowd is angry. The crowd's been loving this. They're totally invested in this. We talked about this before. This has to end with Wardlow going over him at the pay-per-view. I am interested to see how Wardlow beats him, Shawn Spears in the cage next week with MJF as the referee, but I'm sure that's going to happen. It's just
I don't see any way that he could actually lose this, because if he loses, we don't get the match at Double or Nothing.
Right.
So I don't see any way.
I don't see him losing at Double or Nothing, because then we don't get him in the company.
That would be the worst build-up ever.
But that tells you how good this is written, though. That tells you how good the storyline is, though, because we know what's going to be happening here, but we're invested.
Absolutely. And I'm as invested in this as anything. And I've read stories out there, to be honest with you, about people claiming MJF isn't happy, claiming that I don't buy it at all. These storylines are great. Yeah. I think some of these dirt sheets, unfortunately, are kind of buying into the 2024 a little too much.
Yeah, no, I think fans online more per se are probably into that, and I it's probably fun. But I think at the end of the day, I do think he'll go wherever is going to pay him. But I don't think I think he's just playing it up. And I think
he's definitely not unhappy with the storylines. I mean, I think it's fantastic.
I think Tony Khan's very well aware too, if I had to guess. But after that, a little bit surprised for me. We got Roppongi Vice in the back. And they're talking about they want FTR for the Ring of Honor tag titles. Yeah. And they're talking about maybe getting those IWGP heavyweight belts and AEW tag belts. And that's really nice. I'm glad they have goals. But
when's the last time I saw Roppongi Vice win something?
Not anything. I mean, they've won matches here and there, but yeah, I don't know. To me, I thought this might just be setting up a match with FTR for Double or Nothing.
Yeah, and I think that might be happening. Hell, it might be even just setting something up for Rampage. But
yeah, Rampage will be live that week before.
That's what I'm saying. That's I find it hard to believe that they're. I understand why they would want FTR on there, right. But I find it hard to believe that they're saying they're going. We really need Roppongi Vice on.
Well, everybody else might be booked already. So
yeah. Well, if they keep building 8-mans and 10-mans, yes, they might have everybody else booked.
Well, let's continue on here. We got Kyle O'Reilly versus Ray Phoenix. I really enjoyed this match. I like the fact that O'Reilly tried to start it off on the ground like a jiu-jitsu guy would. And then Phoenix, he's always on fire with his offense. In the end, O'Reilly gets the win with the submission armbar. And I thought O'Reilly's a guy who's been protected in this tournament, and they've made to look really good here.
O'Reilly's transitions from move to move are so freaking good. That's I'm looking forward to him and Joe. I think him versus Joe could steal the tournament, to be honest with you.
I agree. I think Joe's going to go over it. I think, we'll talk about that coming up. But
now that being said, I would not be absolutely shocked if Kyle O'Reilly actually wins.
Let's talk about that when we get to the main event segment. All right. Next we have Blackpool Combat Club and the Jericho Appreciation Society. I thought Jericho was on fire with this. I thought Jericho calling Regal a drug addict. I'm surprised he's still alive. I thought all his digs were great. And I thought Regal, for a rarity, came off a little bit more like fluff. And that's very rare because I love Regal, but I thought the toothbrush line was kind of almost something that I would expect him to say like WWE or a comical thing. When Jericho,
I didn't like the toothbrush line at all. I thought while the visual itself is humorous, the line I thought was dead. However, Jericho did what all great heels do. He told you the truth and shoved it in your face. And I know a lot of people think that it was more of a babyface promo. It wasn't. It is pure heel. Pure heel is me taking the facts that you can't argue with and shoving them in your face so that you can't do anything about it.
I have to say, I really thought Chris came off like on fire here. Now, anyway, we set up a match for Double or Nothing. I think it's called Arena Anarchy. It's quite the name.
Well, we talked about. Wait a minute. Let's talk about what we talked about off air here.
Oh yeah. The fans were excited for Stadium Stampede, and
they went nuts for it.
Yeah, and then Moxley said, "We're not cut that shit. We're not doing that bullshit." And we're wrestlers and entertainers, and the crowd was like, "All right, hell with it. Fuck it. We're into whatever Moxley."
We're stupid. What were we thinking? And then they cheered for what's basically going to be the same damn match, just called something else.
I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, it will be a little different, I'm sure.
Let's give some credit to some people though. I like Daniel Garcia. I like what he does when he gets the mic. Moxley's always good on the mic. I loved Eddie Kingston's always rock solid on the mic. All of those guys are fantastic on the mic. Everybody in this segment did really well, except for one person, William Regal, unfortunately.
Yeah, who's normally one of the best.
Yeah. I also love the interactions between Brian Danielson and Eddie Kingston,
right,
and how they obviously still don't get along, because I love it when storylines make sense. Yes, they are lining up right now to team together because they're going against a common enemy, but they still don't like each other. I love that.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, Moxley and Danielson have been getting along, and I hope they do, because they got challenged by Dante Martin and Matt Sydal for a Rampage tonight. And Matt Sydal cut a scathing promo on these two. And I can only imagine that this main event is going to get bloody tonight, and I have a feeling I'm looking at an upset. I say Sydal.
Dante Martin and Matt Sydal get back together.
Darius got hurt again.
Yeah, I know, but shouldn't there be some kind of storyline to put them back together and put them back as a team?
Well, they never really had issues with each other. So
yeah, I get it, I guess, but whatever. That's just me nitpicking. I also, by the way, I hope and pray to God that Moxley and Bryan Danielson can actually survive this challenge and make it to Double or Nothing.
One can hope. Next we had Dr. Britt Baker versus Maki Ito. Maki Ito, she's hilarious. I actually thought she was really funny. Yeah.
So neither one of us are big comedy wrestler guys. I think that's fair to say. And I like the fact that Maki Ito does the comedy, but she also sprinkles in legitimate moves that make you go, oh shit. Yeah. She hits suplexes and stuff and bumps her ass off and does moves that still make you go, oh my God, somebody could get killed here.
Yeah, I'm a fan, but I knew once I saw her that Britt Baker was going over.
Baker's going over, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And after this, Toni Storm makes her entrance and stares down Baker. So we got a little stare down, setting up for next week. This is one of our semifinal matches next week. All right, it's kind of hard to know for sure, but I'm going with Toni Storm.
Yeah, to be honest with you, it's weird to me. How is this the semifinal? That's I just don't get that booking.
Right.
I don't get the booking on the other side either.
Right.
Because Ruby Soho is going to have to go against one of the other two, and even though I'm picking Statlander, you're going to have face versus face on the other side, and two of the biggest stars going head to head on one side.
Right.
It's just hard to understand the logic.
Here's what I'm saying. They could do Statlander and Britt Baker. I could see that, and then maybe Statlander pulls off the upset, because I think we're going to have a babyface win these tournaments. Is my guess.
I mean, I think.
You could have Baker and Cole both win it, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you could have heel win.
That's what I like about this tournament so far, though. It's not been as easy to predict. There's been a lot of potential matchups. So
I haven't been this befuddled by a tournament since I don't know, WrestleMania, when Ted DiBiase looked like he was going to win the belt, but then the Macho Man won, and
I just feel like Toni Storm. It's a great story, and she's got such star potential that coming to AEW. I think they should put her over, and this would be a great start. And I don't know. I kind of like the Jade Cargill thing, actually, the more I think about it, of her helping Red Velvet get all the way to the finals, and then Tony still overcoming that, and then we set up this huge matchup, because Storm is a bigger star, honestly, coming from WWE, and then everything else she's done, and then she's hasn't lost yet here.
Well, I think technically, even with Britt Baker is still in the tournament, I think technically Toni Storm might still be the biggest star in this tournament.
You could argue it.
You could argue it. I think personally, to me, Britt Baker has done more, but Toni Storm has been a champion all over the world.
And if you want to get down to it, people aren't going to like the fact that I said this, but it's the truth. And I'm not talking about creative, but at the end of the day, WWE is a bigger platform. Yeah. So you could argue.
Well, not only that, but Toni Storm has been, like I said, she's been a champion all over the world. She's
now
held
that
championships all over England, Japan. Whereas Britt Baker was still relatively new when she came to AEW.
And one also, I do want to say one it's arguable too, though, is on that big platform. She mostly spent her time on NXT and NXT UK. And then when she did come to the main roster, she wasn't really used all the time. So it is very possible more people do.
Well, to be honest with you, the biggest star of the four might actually be Ruby Soho.
Yeah, she spent a lot of time on the main roster, sure. But she, a different name, the way she was pushed. It's hard to say, but yeah.
Yeah, and then she hasn't been used since she got to AEW, so maybe this is very debatable.
It is. Well, anyway, they had her supposed to start off, and then we go, Shivani comes in the ring, and more good women's interaction here. Shivani's going to basically promote the pay-per-view. Serena Deeb comes out. She tells Shivani.
She took some solid shots here.
She told Tony Schiavone, "You're an idiot. You picked her. You ruined everything you ever did in the wrestling business." And then, she called out Dustin Rhodes at this point already too.
Now wait a minute. She didn't only call out Dustin Rhodes.
I'm not done yet. Yeah, and she also did make mention that Jim Ross was the only one with brains around here, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, but wait a minute. She said, and I quote, "I got breast implants because some dirty old man."
Yeah, we'll get to that. She said that when Dustin was out there because she was making a point that Dustin, everything I went through. I had breast implants because of some pervert old man. I had Joe walked in at this moment. I had to shave my head. Everything I went through, and yet you do that. It's a slap in the face, and then Thunder Rosa comes out. Dustin tries to hold her off. He ends up eating an elbow. She slapped him first, too. Yeah. And then she ended up I can't remember what she did exactly.
She slaps him. He eats the elbow by Thunder Rosa, and then Thunder Rosa eats the belt.
That's what it was, the belt, yeah. So, and then she's out. I thought it was great heat. And I thought it was a great
belt. A belt holds up your pants. It's a world championship.
And I watched this show the next day, and this is the point where I realized that something must have been happening with the time because we went to Owen Hart and Adam Cole. I'm sorry, Owen Hart tournament, Adam Cole and Jeff Hardy. And I realized that Cole didn't even get an entrance. He jumps Jeff Hardy, and this match is just on right away. And I think I was the post wrestling. I think it was like they said it was 7 minutes. And basically, Cole ends up getting the win. And we got Adam Cole going to the finals. At the end of it, though, there was some more stuff. The Bucks came out. We jumped the Hardy Boys. And then Sting came out with Darby for the save, but they got the upper hand. And they ended up basically doing the Pillmarizer type thing on Sting's leg.
Yeah, they ended up putting the chair on there and ended up doing some damage to the old man's leg. So let's say our thoughts and prayers for that young man.
I think they're setting up an 8-man tag here, I would think. Sting, Darby. That's what
we need it. Because, the 10-man tag's not enough at Double or Nothing. Let's fucking put together an 8-man tag and call it a day.
So, all right. Before we do the top 5 of the week, let's do the Owen Hart Finals tournament. This is one of my top 5 anyway, so let's just kind of compare. Because I love the way they've been booking this thing. Absolutely. So, who do you see going in the finals next week? Samoa Joe, O'Reilly, and then what do you see happening at Double or Nothing?
So I guess we'll do that one first. I think that Samoa Joe's going over. I think it's going to be Joe and Cole, and then I think that Cole's going to find a way to win this thing.
Maybe with the help of Jay Lethal and everything.
Yeah. All right. And then I believe that it's actually going to be Britt Baker. I know Tony Storm has been getting the better of them a lot. I think Tony Storm, somehow Britt Baker is going to go over in this. I think it's going to be Britt Baker versus Statlander, and I think Britt Baker is going over. And I think Cole and Britt Baker are actually going to be your.
You like that? Yeah.
I think it's going to be double heel.
All right.
He's a heel.
You like that I mentioned that. All right, so top 5 of the week. I said we're doing top 5 stories of the week. I did have the Owen Hart tournament in here because I just love the way it's been booked.
I love the way it's being done too, so I have no problem with that being one of the top storylines of the week.
Another AEW note here I wanted to put in here, the Hangman Punk storyline. I like this because I honestly, I think this is the best so far since Hangman's won the title. This has been the best feud he's been involved in the sense that I have no idea who is going to actually win this. I'm leaning towards Punk, but I can honestly see either one of them getting the win here.
I actually, believe it or not, I think Punk is going to win. That's the I would rather see Hangman win just because I think that it would really legitimize him. But I think that they're going to put Punk over.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he's got this is going to be one last run. All right. So Hangman,
Daniel Backley with a great freaking
Fred Rosser versus Tom Lawler is number one. I mean, for those following New Japan, they've been doing a good job building up that storyline. Rosser trying to overcome the odds of Team Filthy, and we'll see if he can. But I want to put the Unification tag titles match on tonight as one of my top 5. I'm curious to see where they actually go with this. The Usos versus RK Bro. I actually think this has been built up pretty good in a sense because they have pulled it away from us that, okay, we're finally going to get this match tonight, and I am kind of curious to see how this plays out.
I think that's going to be a good match. I think it'll be interesting. They've kind of drawn it out for a while. They've gotten a lot more out of it than I thought they were going to get.
Yeah,
but I am interested to see how it plays out.
All right, last two. This is where I lean more towards stories of the week. Flair having one more match. I would not put this as one of my positive things because I'm concerned about a man with a pacemaker going to wrestle at 73 years old. But I am interested to see what happens. I'm interested in the fact this is SummerSlam weekend, and it'll be with Starrcast and everything. I am interested that it's being promoted under Jim Crockett Promotions. So I'm really curious to see what we end up doing. I told you my theory, although you texted me last night that Ricky Steamboat apparently said that he would not want to be involved in something like this.
Yeah, he did a live stream where Ricky Steamboat said he absolutely is not doing it. He did get the offer. He thought about it for about a week, but he does not want to take away from what he has actually done in this industry. And he doesn't want to. The last time he wrestled, he looked good because he was training people. He had time to get prepared for it. He said he hasn't worked in so long. He does not want people to remember him that way.
Interesting. I just saw him at MLW recently. He was doing like a commissioner thing, so he didn't have to do a bump or anything. But
he literally said, I don't want to take away from that final match. I'm very happy with the way that my legacy has ended.
Well, good for him. I am interested to see what happens. We'll see what they end up doing to that.
I love that new promotion, by the way, the Authors of Pain, the WES promotion.
Yeah, they got Alistair Overeem from the Fight Word taking on Braun Strowman or Adam Shear or whatever he goes by now.
The announcing team for them is actually what's his name? They've got Coachman. They've got Jonathan Coachman, and then they've got Matt from Impact Wrestling, formerly of the WWE. Yeah, there you go. I could not remember his last name to save my life.
I think the big story of the week has to be Sasha Banks and Naomi walking out, and just the way that it was handled by everybody.
From what I understand, they are not in Michigan tonight. There's somebody who saw Sasha. They were on a flight with Sasha Banks going to from Orlando to Minnesota yesterday.
And I was listening to Post Wrestling today too, and they were speculating. They had heard, I can't remember what their source was, but apparently it's been talked about that Naomi's contract might be coming up to an end.
Yeah, so I don't look to see them tonight. I don't know where this is going. I haven't seen any real updates on it, but it's not looking good.
All right. Well, before we close out, what's your top 5? Was there anything you disagreed with?
I agree with a lot of what you said. There were some things that I actually enjoyed this week also. I don't know if you saw Impact Wrestling last night.
Actually, runner-up, I was going to put down Eric Young and Josh Alexander because I loved all the footage they had on Young, especially talking about his journey.
And that's actually something that I was about to mention. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I think they're doing a great job of setting up Eric Young and Josh Alexander. They've done a great job of setting up Josh Alexander with everybody he's wrestled so far, quite frankly. But I think that they're doing a great job again with this. And then Impact actually has another one of mine. This is actually one of my matches of the week. If you get a chance to see it, it's Speedball Mike Bailey versus Laredo Kid. Absolutely fantastic match. The two of them tear the house down. Give that a watch if you haven't seen it.
I'll give one more recommendation. Bunkhouse Brawl, MLW, the Von Erichs versus 5150.
Now, there you go. That's now I do want to mention something that's coming up tomorrow.
Yes.
If you're in the Norwich area tomorrow, please,
Saturday, May 21st.
Even if you're not in the area, you should come down because this card is absolutely loaded. It is going to be broadcasted on Independent Wrestling TV. We've got just Davey Richards on the card. You've got the former Lince Dorado on the card. You've got Manny Fernandez is going to be there. Bob Backlund's going to be there. It's just an absolutely loaded card from top to bottom, and it's going to be a fun night of wrestling. And you know what? We're going to be there. So you can come down, meet the members of the Working Fans Podcast. It's 6 p.m. tomorrow, bell time at Pistol Pete's in beautiful, historic Norwich, Connecticut.
There you go. Producer Joe will be there. Chevy will be there.
Joe, I heard Joe might even sign autographs for people.
Whatever you want.
He usually tells people to fuck off, but for you guys this week, he's
whatever
willing
the
to
fans
sign
need, we'll sign it.
We'll sign anything. That's the foreheads,
butt cheeks. All right, they allow it.
Dave's specialty.
For the most part.
That's for the most part. Anything the good Lord will allow.
Within the law. All right. Working Fans Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in this week. If you're seeing this today, please tune in. Come check us out tomorrow at Pistol Pete's in Norwich. Love to see everybody there.
You'll see how we do the work so you don't have to.
Check us out.